The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Aaron Glenn is number one in the hot seat rankings. We'll talk about that and how accurate the rest of the list actually is when Omari Brown joins us in his weekly spot. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started.
We sitting in here, we excited as hell.
Now it's time to get to work. Are you a happy guy?
Oh my goodness, let's go!
I haven't felt joy talking about the Jets in a long time. When they announced it, I went, yeah! Let's go! A new chapter for the Jets has started. Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are tasked with shaping the future of this franchise. Will they be the ones to finally get it right? We will be here for every step of the journey on the Jake Asman Show, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. It is indeed the Jake Asman Show, presented by PrizePicks. Programming note, today is the only live Jake Asman Show that you're watching right now, because later today at 3 p.m. Eastern, the latest episode of the Jets Collective will be live on the Jets Collective YouTube channel. Samini's back from vacation, so join Rich, Brandon Tierney, and myself as we talk Jets each and every week on our brand new Collective podcast that is later today at 3. Subscribe to the Jets Collective YouTube channel. Other important Asmaniac related notes. This Saturday, Wayne Corbett and company all hanging out at Gangrene Beach Club. Tickets still available, gangrenebeachclub.com to join us at HQ2 in Atlantic City at the Ocean Casino. And I'm rocking a Cloverleaf Tavern hat right now. If you missed the announcement, we are officially hosting our annual training camp meetup at the Cloverleaf Tavern for the second year in a row. Chef Kevin's restaurant, of course. That'll be on August 1st. It is a free event. If you want to join us, RSVP. Even if you can't make it to practice that morning, because tickets are going to be tough. It's first come, first serve for those when the Jets release them. And it's the only open practice for fans that aren't season ticket holders. So even if you can't make it and you want to still come to the event, whenever the Jets practice ends, figure around 11:30, we all will head to the Cloverleaf Tavern and be in one spot for an awesome afternoon. All the info for that is linked in the description. Make sure you RSVP so Chef Kevin and the Cloverleaf staff can get an accurate head count. I believe this guy will not only be joining us on Saturday, but he's going to make it out to the event on August 1st as well. It's Omari Brown from JET X. What's up, Omari?
What's going on, Jake? Yeah, I'm not missing any of those events, man. We're there. We're at Atlantic City this weekend. We're going to be at Cloverleaf Tavern. I'm trying to talk the wife into letting me go to Nashville. So, yeah, we rocking out, man. You're going to see a lot of me.
There is certainly a lot to be excited about when Omari Brown is in the building. Looking forward to seeing Omari again in person for the first time since the Combine this Saturday. So it's going to be a great event, and make sure you get your tickets, Jet fans, because it's the first of its kind. And I know Wayne Corbett is super pumped up, was talking with him, and I know it's going to be a lot of fun for everyone who's making the trip to AC. I'm going to give you some positive vibes before we talk about an unfortunate topic involving the Jet head coach. The Jets this morning, they posted this, a photo of Jason Taylor and Mason Taylor rocking the same Jet uni. So before we go a little negative with the conversation, how about we manifest some positive Taylor vibes for the Jets 3 weeks out from training camp starting?
Let's do it. We need all the good juju that we can get. I mean, the last time that Mason was involved with the Jets, that's when the Jets were good. You know, he was actually on Hard Knocks. If you go back and look at the Hard Knocks, that's him and his brother, I believe, when the cameras are following Jason Taylor. So there's a lot of cool full circle moments. You got Andre Cisco, Long Island kid, Jets fan. You got, obviously, everyone's favorite, Jeremy Ruckert, Long Island kid, Jets fan. And obviously Aaron Glenn, you know, beloved Jets player. Now we just hope that he can be a good coach. So there's a lot of good juju to go around, Jake. We just need it to actually come to fruition.
From your lips to God's ears. Well, CBS Sports is not seeing it. They put out a piece where they ranked the head coaches on the hottest of seats. And I don't think a ton of people are surprised, but number 1 is Aaron Glenn. The top 5 from CBS. Number 5, Dan Quinn of the Commanders. Number 4, Zach Taylor of the Bengals. Number 3, Shane Steichen of the Colts. Number 2, our old friend Todd Bowles of the Buccaneers. And number 1, the head coach of the New York Jets going into his second year following a 3-14 year one, Aaron Glenn. Omari, do you have any issue with Aaron Glenn being number 1 on this list?
I don't, because I felt that if the Jets were to walk away from Aaron Glenn, not many people would have been surprised, but I understand why they did, and especially when they hit the reset button. But a lot of these other coaches on here, outside of Dan Quinn, a lot of these guys have been given an opportunity. I mean, Zach Taylor has had Joe Burrow, and I know that he's been nicked up, but after making the Super Bowl and making the AFC Championship the year after Zach Taylor, he hasn't sniffed the playoffs. Shane Steichen, I mean, I think that's a longer conversation because that's between Chris Ballard and him. I don't think that that's all on Shane Steichen. And I do think that Shane Steichen is one of the more innovative minds in the NFL. Todd Bowles, I'm not the biggest Todd Bowles fan, and he has made the playoffs. But again, that's a talented roster. But again, they're in transition as well too. So a lot of those guys there, I wouldn't say I fully agree with. And then Dan Quinn, he went from I believe they won 12 or 13 games there for his first year there. And then Jaden Daniels missed 10 games. So some of those aren't fair, but with Aaron Glenn, I mean, you can't argue. I think he has the hottest coaching seat. I mean, it's so hot that we both agree that week 1 is a must-win game. So that alone lets you know where Aaron Glenn's, job security is right now. So I don't think anyone can argue with that. And I think if anyone is arguing with that, they're wearing, green colored Oakleys, because you just have to be honest.
Now, if the NFL was run how like it should be run, like Zach Taylor, I think should be, you could argue, number 1 in the list because he's been there forever and they haven't won. And he's had a Hall of Fame quarterback. And yes, there's been injuries to Burrow along the way, but I don't know if we look at Zach Taylor and think, yep, that's a great coach. But the Bengals are notorious for being cheap and they don't want to basically pay a coach to not coach them. So I think that's a big reason why Zach Taylor's 4 on this list and he's not as high as, say, Bowles or Glenn at number 1. But, one thing that I think stands out is Shane Steichen is number 3 here. And you look at the Colts, they were all in last year, as we know, making the Sauce Gardner deal, giving the Jets 2 first-round picks and Adonai Mitchell, thinking that they had a team that could win a championship. They completely collapsed. Daniel Jones getting hurt had a lot to do with it. But, this is a Colts team that has new ownership. I know, it's still in the Irsay family, but when Jim died, it was passed down to his daughters. So it's a new, deciding figurehead that is running the organization. They already made their all-in move last year. They're bringing Daniel Jones back. The GM, Chris Ballard's been there for a while. He's hired multiple coaches. Kind of feels like if the Colts can't figure it out, it could be a complete tear down and they blow the whole thing up. I like seeing that, knowing that the Jets do have their first-round pick for another year, as we all know.
I mean, listen, the World Cup is going on right now, so there's a lot of hate watching right now. But as soon as the calendar goes over to September, it's going to be a huge hate watch for me personally for the Indianapolis Colts. So I'm going to be rooting for them to be as awful as they can be. And again, I think Chris Ballard should be on the hot seat more than Shane Steichen. And I understand that they're going to be, grouping together, and rightfully so. You're not going to fire your GM and then have the owner and the coach pick the next GM. But again, when you miss at quarterback, Jake, as you know, man, that can set you back 5 years. So I think they were incredibly lucky. And some of the moves that they made, they still have to be all in. Trading 2 1s for a cornerback, no matter how you feel about the deal, forces you to pay Daniel Jones the contract that he signed. And I believe he signed 2 years for $88 million. So he's making $44 million a year. And then that also forces you with making the trade for Adonai Mitchell, as you alluded to, Jake, that you have to make Alec Pierce the highest paid wide receiver in free agency ever. So regardless of how you feel about Alec Pierce, we all know that it's not always about, who deserves it. It's all about who's next. And his timing, kudos to him. I believe he signed a 4-year, $117 million deal. So again, they are all in. All the chips are pushed right in the middle. And again, if the optics weren't as bad, Jake, you'd be right. Shane Steichen would be at the top there. But I'll tell you one thing though, Shane Steichen is a great offensive mind, and if Shane Steichen was available, I think that's another conversation that we have as well too.
I'm talking about Zach Taylor. I think would be
Zach Taylor. Okay,
I do agree with you on Steichen though. I do think he's a pretty decent coach given some of the limitations he's had at quarterback. Depending on how it looks for the Colts, I wouldn't be completely against the Jets giving Steichen a real interview because we want someone with experience. We want someone, preferably, I think, who's known for working with quarterbacks and being an offensive guy. So Steichen not as high as, say, Kevin O'Connell, who we'll talk about in just a bit if he ever became available. But he's certainly someone that intrigues me at least a little bit. But, I see some pushback in the comments saying, oh, Glenn shouldn't be number one. The reality is they won 3 games in his first year. And the narrative was that he could have been fired at the end of last year. And the reason why he wasn't fired was because Woody Johnson didn't want to pull the plug after he gave him a 5-year contract. And this was Woody's first hire of a coach that he made and had the final say on in a decade since he hired the number 2 guy, ironically, on this list, Todd Bowles. Remember, his brother was the one who hired the infamous Adam Gase, and Joe Douglas, with his brother overseeing it, was the one who hired Robert Saleh. Woody was still the ambassador in the UK in the Trump administration during that time. So, Glenn's got to prove that he can coach. So let's just be blunt. I mean, last year was an unmitigated disaster. We often would say, what does Aaron Glenn do well? And people would struggle to come up with the answer to that. Well, now he's taking over the defensive play calling. They made a bunch of moves to get personnel that fits the style and type of defense he wants to deploy. There's no excuse. He's got to go out there and prove that he's got a feel for coaching the whole team and specifically the defense. So here's the question I have for you. What does Aaron Glenn have to do to save his job and get off this hot seat power ranking list?
I think he needs to get off to a fast start. So starting off 1-0 would do tremendous in terms of getting the heat off of his back. I think the defense needs to have an identity. I think the team overall, but the defense, because that's going to have his fingerprints and his blueprints on it. You want the whole team to. But again, I've said this. I think just like you said, Jake, he's brought in specific people to do what he needs them to do. So when you bring in Sweat, Onyemata, you bring in Demario Davis, I'm expecting the team to be top 12 against the run. All right. I want them to be opportunistic. They need to be fast, physical, and they need to have an identity. The offense is going to take a little bit. It's a new play caller, new quarterback. They're relying on a lot of young pass catchers. And a lot of unproven guys as well, too. So the offense may take, hopefully it doesn't take more than a quarter of the season, but the defense, they have to get off to a fast start in order to, for the fans and even for the players as well too, Jay, because there's some times where you can even see, like when you've been losing a lot, and some of the players from this core, the Brees, the Garretts, who else, even Olu to that standpoint, once they give up a turnover or once adversity starts to hit, you can tell, Jay, like you can tell, like when Braylon Allen fumbled that ball in the Miami game, you kind of knew that they were going to crumble after that. So I think getting off to a fast start, and Aaron Glenn showing that he is worth his chops on defense can go a long way for him. And if they were able to start off at 2-0, then we'd be having completely different conversations. So I think for him to, establish some confidence and some goodwill with the players and also with the fans and more importantly, ownership, I think the defense needs to get off to a fast start. And from, everything I know that is just shorts and t-shirts, they looked good. They look good. I know those OTAs, but the defense looked fast and they look good. And they've added some professionals at every level.
I think getting off to a fast start is paramount because I think people will say, well, he's got to win X amount of games. And yes, winning ultimately is going to be a major, major factor in whether or not the head coach, after winning only 3 games in his first season, gets a third season. But I think it goes beyond just the win total, right? Getting off to a fast start. How do you look against Saleh early on in the year? How do you look against division opponents? They were 0-6 against the AFC East. They had the worst point differential. I saw the stat the other day. The worst point differential in the modern NFL against division opponents. Like since the merger or division realignment, you take it a step further, they've had the worst point differential against division opponents in a single season last year. Like they were not competitive in games against the Dolphins, the Bills, or the Patriots. Not good enough, not acceptable. So how are you against division opponents? How are you when you have more time to prepare for an opponent? We can't even say how are you in prime time because they don't have any. But like you go down the line throughout the course of a season, and there's certain things you got to check off if you're going to be able to get a third year. I think if they win 6 games, no matter what happens, I think he's gone. If he wins 7, I think it really depends on some of these factors we're talking about. I think if he wins 8 and he's the first Jet head coach to do that since Todd Bowles in 2015, that's how long it's been. I think he's more than likely back for a third year, but Like, I feel like people are just trying to put a win number on it. And I don't know if it's necessarily all about the wins. It's how it looks as well along the way.
Yeah, it has to be optics, Jake, because we already know that wins. I'm a firm believer, and actually, I don't even know if I've got your take on this. I don't think that wins carry over. So if you win 3 out of the last 4 games and teams aren't even playing their starters and people are mentally checked out, those aren't going to carry over into 2027. I don't believe that. So I think that if you're going to win 7 games, you better be some of those losses, those 10 losses, at least 3 or 4 of them need to be one possession games where the Jets are right in it. Maybe they missed a field goal, or, maybe Geno throws an interception or something like that while they were driving. I think optics are going to be huge for Aaron Glenn, because last year he came in the door. And I think that's why why there was so much anger, because he came in saying that we were going to compete. So fans, no matter what the roster looked like, no matter what he and Muji did in terms of free agency, it didn't look like a team that was ready to compete. No disrespect, but if Josh Reynolds is your number 2 wide receiver and Alan Lazard is your number 3, and you're trying to piece it together with Tyler Johnson, that doesn't scream to me like a team that's ready to compete. So I never really believed that when he came in. So yeah, it's going to be a huge optics. Everything that he does is going to be under a microscope. No dancing on the sideline. Everything that Aaron Glenn does is going to be under a microscope. Yeah, and I think honestly, Jake, I think anything short of 8 games, he's probably not going to be back. He's probably not going to be back, because then because you're looking, we're going to get into coaching and things like that. You're going to start looking like, hey, okay, what's the draft position? Are the Jets going to be in line for a quarterback, which I'm sure we're going to start speaking with the college football season starting next month. Who do you really, we already know what the formula is, because we're going to talk about some guys here. You want to marry that young, innovative offensive mind with that young coach. And Aaron Glenn isn't an offensive coach. He's a defensive guy. So he's going to have to do a lot. I think the wins are going to have to be there. I think the sentiment in the locker room and the ownership is going to have to be there. And I think the optics and how the outside world is viewing the Jets, they're all going to have to be there. So he has an uphill battle.
And I think to your point, like, if we're not sure how we feel at the end of the second year, like, this is one of the few times when the Jet head coaching opening could actually be viewed as one of the more attractive jobs in the league. So unless you're definitively like assertive, hey, we got our guy. Last year was an outlier. It was an anomaly. He was learning on the job. He made the necessary corrections, and he's our guy going forward. Unless you feel that way, like you're confident you got the right head coach, to me, like, the tiebreaker should be you move on, because you're an attractive job. For one, you won't have 10 other openings around the league like you had this past year. Like, statistically, that just can't happen. There's been 2/3 of the league that's turned over head coaches the last 2 seasons alone. So there won't be 10 openings. 2, you have $100 million in cap space, 3 first-round picks, and we think the roster is not awful. Like, there's players here. So will the Jet job be more attractive than it would be after this upcoming year, potentially, right? Obviously, some things need to play out, like the 2027 QB class lives up to it and actually, plays well, unlike what happened this past year. But let's say there's a couple quarterbacks that are legit and the Jets are in position to get one of those guys. That cap space, your roster, New York, high-paying job, it's an attractive job. So if you're not sure on Glenn, I almost think you got to move on. Like, he's got to do such a good job this year that we're like, yep, he's the guy. We're definitely bringing him back, and not leave it up for gray area. Otherwise, I think you got to move on, because your job's attractive to get a proven commodity that could be your next head coach.
I think that's Jake, you hit the nail right on the head. And honestly, look at where the Knicks were. And I know that it is apples to oranges. The Knicks could have easily said, hey, listen, Tom Thibodeau turned this thing around. He got us to an Eastern Conference Finals. Let's just run it back. Let's just try to get over the hump with Tom Thibodeau. But no, Leon Rose made the tough decision. And honestly, I take this. Remember, Bill Parcells used to say, listen, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you probably don't have one. So if you're, just like you said, if you're unsure, if there's any doubt in your mind that this coach isn't the guy, then he's not your guy. The way that the way that Les Snead feels about Sean McVay, the way, the Chicago's GM, I believe is Ryan Pace, feels about Ben Johnson. Those guys know, they're assertive. The way John Lynch feels about Kyle Shanahan, they know. All they have to do is they have to get the right people in the building, and those guys are going to take care of it. And I think that coaching, and as what we're going to get into next, coaching is paramount, especially in the NFL.
Yep. And like, again, because keeping him is not just, you keep him for another year and then you'll see. These are major franchise-altering decisions that he is presiding over if you keep him for another year. You keep him for a third year, say they draft Arch Manning or Dante Moore or whoever emerges at quarterback for the Jets to select, then you're potentially making the Darnold mistake all over again where, well, here's Todd Bowles for a year with Sam, and then you fire him and bring in a new coaching staff with Gase, and it's like, how many times do you want to change the head coach and the OC for your young quarterback? You make it harder for that guy to blossom and develop. Trevor Lawrence, look how many coaches he had before they finally found stability and got the right guy to maximize his skill set. And he was a generational, they said, QB prospect. So that's why I say either Glenn proves he's the guy, or if you're not sure, or obviously if he's just clearly not, you're moving on because you got to go and search for that guy. Otherwise, you're just going to be continuously on this hamster wheel of ineptitude until you get the right coach with the right quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, and then you could even look at the CJ Stroud situation right here. D'Amico Ryans, we all think that he's a great coach. So even if Aaron Glenn does prove that he's a good coach, you're going to constantly, just like you said, be chasing an offensive coordinator, because what's going to happen? Let's say that, Frank Reich does a tremendous job. What's the shelf life on Frank Reich, Jake? 2-3 years, maybe tops. And then after that, you're going to be searching for another OC. And then guess what? If this quarterback that we have is really the goods, whoever you think that is going to be, you're going to keep chasing an offensive coordinator trying to make sure that relationship works, because what do offensive coordinators do? They become head coaches. So again, they're just, getting that head coach that's an offensive minded guy really can set you up for sustained success. And I think that that's all that Jets fans are truly focused on right now. So,
ladies and gentlemen, Omari Brown is my guest. He is joining us here in his weekly spot. Only one live Jake Asman show today because the Jets Collective is going live at 3 p.m. Eastern. So I had to pull out a big-time prize for the Asmaniac community. How about this? A Chad Pennington signed football up for grabs. Talking about the Jets drafting the quarterback. Well, they drafted Chad, and guess what? When Chad was healthy, the Jets won games and made the playoffs. So Chad Pennington, who turned 50 years old last week, signed football by Chad up for grabs at the end of this show, as long as we get 20 names on the Wheel of Champions. Big shout out to Stack, who gifted a channel membership. He's in the raffle for one. Big shout out to Ozzy Fullers, who gifted a membership to the community. He is in for one. And Mike D's Nuts writes in, see y'all on August 1st. Go Jets, baby. Mike D's Nuts in the house, and he's joining us at our Cloverleaf Tavern meetup on 8/1. He's in the raffle for 4. Everyone wish Mike the best in his recovery. He was dealing with some health issues, so I hope you're doing well, Mike. Appreciate you watching the show, and I'm glad you're going to be A-OK to join us on the 1st of August. The Rooster checking in, cock-a-doodle-doo. He is in the Asmaniac raffle for one. Thank you for gifting a membership, Rooster. Omari, let's talk about coaches now. Your guy, Tanky V, our guy, Tanky V, him and I got into this the other day, talking about Kevin O'Connell. We both obviously think he's an awesome coach and would love him on the Jets. But Frankie was willing to trade 2 first-round picks. In fact, he was willing to trade David Bailey, his guy, Kenyon Sadiq, and D'Angelo Pons to get KLC. So he's, I think, going a little too far with that. But your thoughts on Kevin O'Connell before you even break down what you would trade to bring him in? Do you make anything of the comments by KOC talking about Darren Muji and some of the Jet moves that they've made?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They're college roommates. I'm sure they speak all the time. The writing's on the wall, Jake. Just like when the Knicks, the Nova Knicks were, flirting with Mikal Bridges, these guys all speak. They know the landscape. They know the draft picks, everything that we talked about. And I'm sure he's hyping his buddy up because, again, around the league, and I told you this, a little bit after the draft, Darren Muji has done a phenomenal job. I had some intel on some trades that he was working on, and it just feels really good to have a proactive GM. So a lot of people in the league are watching what the Jets are doing, specifically Darren Muji, how he's going about his business. And Kevin O'Connell knows that this thing could probably go off the rails in Minnesota. He has a quarterback battle between J.J. McCarthy and Kyler Murray. I am a Kyler Murray believer and KOC, so I could see them doing some things. But honestly, Jake, if you think about it, couldn't you see Minnesota being the 4th team in that division easily?
Yeah, right. I mean, if Kyler Murray's not good or gets hurt like he has for a lot of his career, I mean, the Lions, I think, are a good team. The Bears were a playoff team. Obviously, the Packers have, a proven quarterback and coach that's been to the playoffs many a times. Yeah, I mean, That's a super competitive division.
Extremely competitive. So I could honestly see the Vikings winning 8 games and still missing the playoffs. So 9 games and still missing the playoffs. So again, he's setting up his next move. And again, I'm not going to go as far as Frankie as trading a bunch of those players, especially. And he must feel really highly about KOC to trade his pride and joy, David Bailey. So that really lets you
That's
know
what I said.
Yeah, he has conviction. Like, he is the CEO of Bailey Bros Inc. So shout out to him for shout out to him for being committed to the cause. But for me, Jake, if I'm going to trade 2 first-round picks, I need elite coaching. I need coaching that's going to be GM proof. I need a coach that's going to be owner proof. Because you and I both know that, that there could be some potential, owner tampering going on here too. So for me, my S tier of coaches is, number one, it has to start with Sean McVay. And I think that most of us will agree. I would trade 2 1s and arguably 2 2s to have 5 to 7 years of Sean McVay. I think Sean McVay is the best coach in football. And I think that he can coach up talent. And I think that if you give him talent, he's going to perennially be in the championship games, whether that's the Super Bowl or a conference championship game. Next for me is going to be Kyle Shanahan. I would give up 2 1s for Kyle Shanahan. I think he does a tremendous job scheming up plays, scheming open players. I think his system is truly bulletproof. And then all you have to do is look at all of the guys that have come from that Shanahan coaching tree. He's a second generation great coach. So those are the 2 guys that I would really surrender. I would say, King's ransom draft capital for. What do you think about those 2?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Again, offensive guys, young enough where they're around for the long haul, proven commodities. I think you nailed it with those 2.
Yeah. I just think that, GM proof, owner proof, those guys, they have a track record. They've done well in the playoffs. Big fan of those guys. Jumping into the A tier, and this is when, some people can really go by preference. I'm going to go Sean Payton. Again, he's a Super Bowl winning coach. I know that he can coach up. Like, it's so funny because I would say that, and I think you'd agree with me, if Sean Payton was the coach of this current Jets team, we'd be looking at them to win between 8 and double-digit games. What would you say?
Yeah, if you told me Sean Payton was coaching the Jets, they'd be one of those teams where people would be like, there's a team that goes from worst to first every year in the NFL. There's teams that miss the playoffs every year, that the next year there's at least 6 new teams that didn't make it. Jets could be one of those teams. That's just how much coaching matters in the league. So I'm with you.
Yeah, I think any coach that can come in immediately, once he walks through the doors, he changes the perception of your franchise. He's worth at minimum a first-round pick. So I would give a first and a second for Sean Payton.
Yep.
I would also, and these 2 guys, they're new kids on the block, but I would just believe in them so much, especially just because of what they were able to do in their first year. Now, there might be some regression, but Liam Cohen, people were, depending on who you were, people were ready to write Trevor Lawrence off, whether that was fair or not. Trevor Lawrence, we talked about it. This is his 3rd coach, and I'm sure he's been with as many OCs in his short career, playing with the Jaguars. So again, Liam Cohen was able to come right in and pretty much flip that entire thing around. And now we're talking about the Jaguars being contenders. So I think that right there, he's earned that. And Ben Johnson, for the longest time, a lot of people thought that Ben Johnson was truly the engine that made the Detroit Lions go. And then what did he do? He went right to Chicago. They win that division and they make a deep playoff run. So I think Ben Johnson has put himself in that ilk, in that rarefied air of, hey, listen, we're going to surrender some serious capital for them. So that's my A tier. I have Sean Payton, I have Liam Cohen, and Ben Johnson. What do you say about the A tier?
I like the A tier. Cohen's the only one I want to see a little more from. Like, Ben Johnson had a couple of years in Detroit where you really saw the difference when he was there, when he wasn't this past year. And like the turnaround for the Lions really coincided with Campbell making him the play caller. So I feel better about Ben than I do Liam Cohen, even though they both were still in their first years as head coaches. But I have no issue. If you told me, the Jets had to trade for any of those guys, I think everyone would be like, yep, makes sense. Offensive guys, score points, program builders, the whole thing.
Yeah. And then my last 2 guys, these are B tier guys. These are guys I have a lot of respect for. One guy, I look at him as kind of like a Tibbs. He's going to come in and he's going to completely change he's going to raise the standards and he's going to raise the floor, but he's also, exactly what you're going to get. You may not win a Super Bowl, but you're always going to be, flirting with contention, and that's Jim Harbaugh. I think wherever Jim Harbaugh goes, it may take it took a little while for him to really get to where they needed to be in Michigan. But again, he ended there with a championship. You look at when he took over the 49ers, they were pretty much a laughingstock. And Alex Smith was given every opportunity to succeed. And to be honest, he didn't really succeed until Jim Harbaugh got there. So you know exactly what Jim Harbaugh is going to do. He's going to establish an identity. He's going to demand respect. He's going to raise the floor. And I think that's probably as close as we can get to the football equivalent to Tom Thibodeau. You know exactly what you're going to get. So Jim Harbaugh and then Matt LaFleur. I'm a big fan of Matt LaFleur. He was able to, get whatever juice that was left out of Aaron Rodgers. And he was also able to develop Jordan Love. So that right there for me is enough for me to trade at least the first round pick for him. And I think that they've been able to have some sustained success and knowing that they don't spend a lot of money. So I know that if you can get Matt LaFleur here, number one, he's a quarterback whisperer. He's going to bring an established offensive scheme. And then he's also able to develop quarterbacks. He's also able to handle veteran quarterbacks and then also develop young ones. So those are my S, A, and B tier head coaches and the trade capital that I would send for them.
Great breakdown there from Omari Brown. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to pause what we're doing to pay homage to greatness personified. Mimosa.
Thank you, Mimosa, for your generosity and tremendous support of the Jake Asman Show.
A 50 spot of channel memberships. Mimosa drinks on all of us at Gangrene Beach Club this Saturday. Mimosa's coming up from Florida to be a part of the first ever Gangrene Beach Club in Atlantic City. 50 channel memberships. She is, without a doubt, the leader in the clubhouse for today's giveaway, which is a signed Chad Pennington football. Mimosa in for 50. Also, 50 entries in Friday mornings weekly as Maniac Raffle, which is raffle number 80 since we started doing weekly raffles in December of 2024. So Mimosa not only has 50 entries for today's daily raffle, but also the following 6 items for Friday's program: a Brees signed jersey in a custom frame display, a Broadway Joe Namath signed football, a Joe Klecko signed helmet, a Wayne Corbett signed football. Come meet Wayne on Saturday, Jet fans, a Jets Legends jersey, and 2 tickets to Gangrene Beach Club. If you win the tickets and you already bought tickets, we can either refund your money or send you a couple of items from the Jake Asman merch store. Now, Omari, what I'm going to attempt to do is read 50 names because it is raining channel memberships. Grab the Gustbuster umbrella. Here we go. If you hear your name called, make sure you thank Mimosa for making you a channel member. Here we go. Beth Page Chris, G. Smith, Johnny Danks, who will be there on Saturday. Buy Mimosa a shot. Take Flight A3, Bombastic Bagman, The Underrated Darkness, Beast, Put on a Shirt, Sonny Crockett, Jay Mall, No Lane Knight, Is Frankie V on Drugs, Tyler Hallenbach, Brian Morales, Answer your emails from Chef Kevin, Nang Boko, Mark Ferrero, Leslie E., Darnell Towns, Nitty-Whack, LB Norman, Big Bish 6, Money Marino, Joe JF, J. Von Nicholas, Noah S., Undeeded Soldier. There's more. It's loading. Doris Cabela, Rob Gnu, Joe Baster, Dabs Face, Miguel Blanco, Dark Star, Blink One, Bill Noy, G-Coy, Late Night, Beast. I'm telling you, put on a shirt. It's grotesque. Prop 7179, Michael Nero, Pizza Squad, Jack Mananero, NY Jet Fandom, Undead Soldier, Dick Chimney, Noah 8553. But wait, there is more. This is incredible. Who is Ryan Mack? DBZ 581, Lexi Lima, GTA B-Man. I can't wait to see Omari in a Speedo. That one's not real. Gandhi 4055 and Jackson Black, all receiving a gifted membership from the Mimosa.
Thank you, Mimosa, for your generosity and tremendous support of the Jake Asman Show.
Mimosa, you are awesome. Thank you, as always, for your support, and we will see you on Saturday. Aaron with a super chat. He's in our raffle for 2. What if Frank Reich does a great job with the offense and we make the playoffs with 9 wins and Glenn still does not look like the guy? You still fire him. I find this scenario incredibly hard to grasp. So they win 9 games. but the defense is just so bad and like the offense is so incredible. I guess in that scenario, if we play it out, you can make Frank Reich the head coach and find a new defensive coordinator. But if Aaron Glenn's the head coach that ends the playoff drought, even if the defense is not good, I don't see Woody Johnson firing the guy, you know?
Yeah. It's going to be incredibly hard to fire him after breaking the 15-year playoff drought, and the offense looks good because the offense was the issue. You can even always coach up the defense unless the defense is still historically bad. And, the Jets are winning games. And when has this ever happened, Jake? 51 to like 44. I just can't see that happening because at that point, it's just going to look bad on the owner again. So you finally got a guy who got you to damn near double-digit wins and then you fire him. I just don't think that looks good. So I think if Frank Reich does a tremendous job, then you're going to give them the opportunity to find their quarterback of the future. So I think that's a good thing if you're hoping that the Jets turn this thing around with this current regime. So I'm kind of finding it hard to find the lane where that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, I hope this scenario plays itself out and we could have the conversation. But I mean, if Frank Reich gets the Jets to a playoff season, Aaron Glenn's coming back. Aaron Glenn will get credit for hiring Frank Reich, even if the defense is not as good.
Yeah, Aaron Glenn will get credit from us if he won 9 games and turned this around. Because
obviously anything winning matters.
Yeah, exactly. It's not even about, Jake or I being right. It's about the team turning it around. And also you have to give Glenn credit because he's the one that decided to bring in Frank Reich, no matter what people, thought or which direction they should have went with. So if Frank Reich actually does the job, then Glenn deserves some of that credit too. And let me just jump in really quick, Jake. Sometimes I kind of find it confusing where people want to applaud Darren Muji for everything that goes right, but then anything that goes wrong, it was all Aaron Glenn's fault. I think that these guys are working in conjunction with each other pretty closely. So I don't understand how whenever, good things are happening, that it's all Darren Muji and it's everyone else. But then when something bad happens, it's all on Aaron Glenn. So if the team is successful, Aaron Glenn is a part of the brain trust that made decisions in order for them to be successful. So we can't have it both ways.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, every Jet fan, I think if you're a real Jet fan, wants the same thing, which is winning football games. That's what it's all about. That's it.
Well, man, we could debate that. There's some people that would probably say that they are, quote unquote, real Jets fans, but they don't see any lane where sustained success being with Aaron Glenn as the head coach. But yeah, there are some people that actually go to the games, Jake. There are some people that, spend a good portion of their hard-earned money to go sit at MetLife 8 or 9 Sundays every fall, and they want to see the team win. They're not living in their in their studios. They're not, living for mock drafts. They want to see an entertaining product on Sundays.
Yeah. I think if you're a real Jet fan, you'd like to see the team win games, something that they haven't done a whole lot of the last 15 years. In fact, haven't had a winning season in just a decade alone. Haven't won more than 7 in 10 years. I mean, it's hard to believe, but I think everyone who's watching the show in July right now understands exactly where this franchise is at. We're going to get to your calls coming up here in just a bit. I did bookmark this comment. Broncos Spark writes in, Kyle Shanahan is fool's gold. Can't win when it gets tough. Do you realize how insane it is to say Kyle Shanahan is fool's gold when you're watching a show about the Jets? Kyle Shanahan went to a Super Bowl with 2 different quarterbacks. Think about that. And neither one of them is viewed as, a top 10 player in the league. Like Garoppolo was good when he was healthy for a couple of years. Brock Purdy is a nice player, but we saw the offense look really good with Mac Jones, who everyone says is a huge bust when he got a chance to play when Purdy was out last year. Kyle Shanahan might not have won a Super Bowl yet, but the idea that he's fool's gold, can't win when it gets tough. If you could get the 2 different Super Bowls with 2 different starting quarterbacks, I'm sorry, you could win. You haven't won the quote-unquote big one yet, but that's what was said about Andy Reid too, and then eventually he got Patrick Mahomes and completely rewrote the narrative. Like, we got to stop with he doesn't have a Super Bowl, so he's not actually good, or it's fool's gold. That's crazy talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even, thanks Broncos Sparks, but I'm not even going to entertain that because I watched Kyle Shanahan make Nick Mullins look look really good, to the point where people, Jake, I know that we didn't know each other, but people were talking about sending a 3rd or a 4th round pick for Nick Mullins because that's how good he looked with Kyle Shanahan. I watched Kyle Shanahan make CJ Beathard look passable as an NFL quarterback. So listen, if that's fool's gold, I'm buying some of that fool's gold.
Yeah, sign me up for that one. I mean, by the way, Rick Kent with a great point here. Shanahan's the one who helped develop Sam. I mean, he fixed Sam Darnold when he was broken and worked with him that year. And then he goes to Minnesota and KOC got his hands on him with McCown. And obviously the rest is history. Comments, questions, super chats. They always cut the line. Today's Jake Asman show is presented by PrizePicks. Use the code HMA. When you put $5 in, you will get in return $50 available in lineups. PrizePicks already has a bunch of awesome numbers for the UFC fight over the weekend. The return of Conor McGregor, Max Holloway. So if you're into UFC, check that out over at PrizePicks. Omar, we were talking about coaching quarterback in the show. So I'm going to put up Geno Smith's numbers here. Again, outside of an injury here, how does Geno Smith not eclipse at least 15 passing touchdowns and 2,600.5 passing yards thrown? Like, no matter how anyone feels about Geno, this should be light work for Geno Smith. Look at his career when he plays. He's one, very durable, and two, even in a scenario last year with the Raiders where they were the worst team in the league, he still easily eclipsed these numbers.
I think that's the easiest money that we have from PrizePicks. I think that everyone should be smashing the over on both of those. I think Geno's going to get 3,000 yards in his sleep. You could argue that this is, if everyone plays to what we think, this is probably going to be one of his best supporting casts that he's had. I know that he had some good ones up there in Seattle, but I think that if everyone plays and if everyone stays healthy, you couple this offensive line with these pass catchers and hopefully what Frank Reich is able to do, I think Geno's going to surpass those, to be honest. I think he could throw for 3,500 yards, and I think he could throw for, I have him right at 22 touchdowns. So I think that's going to be easy. I think everybody should be smashing over on that too. That's actually too easy. That almost makes me want to bet.
Right?
Yeah.
If you're putting any PrizePick future lineups together for Jets or any NFL players, I just, again, I don't see how Geno Smith wouldn't be on it. I mean, 14.5 passing touchdowns, it shouldn't be a lot, especially if the Jets defense is not as good as the offense and they're playing catch up in a lot of games and they got to throw a lot. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe PrizePicks thinks Geno's getting suspended or something. It's crazy to me, but check it out and make your own picks. Code HMA. Click the link in the description. Download the app and take advantage of the promo deal. If you're just tuning in, Chad Pennington, speaking of QBs, Sign Football is up for grabs. And quick PSA, I've been talking about this. It's now officially live for Patreon users. And of course, if you join the Patreon, you get access to the Discord where it's also posted. We secured 70 tickets plus field passes for our annual Asmaniac meetup game on October 25th. Jets Dolphins, 1 p.m. kickoff at MetLife. If you want to join us, spots are limited. It's first come, first serve. Get on the Patreon, reserve your spot. You'll see there's a private link for you to join and RSVP. And then once you send payment, you will officially be confirmed and you will sit in section 146. We will tailgate all together before the game. Info on the tailgate to come when we get closer will be in L5, and then we'll watch the game. And then after the game, you get to go on the field and take photos with your friends and family, whoever you're with, on the MetLife turf. Hopefully you don't tear your ACL because we know it will not be grass like it is for the World Cup. But I've been asked about this a lot. 12 of you are already locked in your spots yesterday, which is very cool. So we still have space, but it's going to go quick. So I'll keep talking about it on the show. If you're a Patreon or Discord user, you already know. So make sure you're locking your spot if you plan on joining us for our annual Asmaniac meetup game for the Dolphins at the Jets on October 25th. Let's get to now some of your calls. Omari Brown with us here in his weekly spot. Click the thumbs up button and make sure you are subscribed to my channel if you haven't already. Speaking of big meetups, we announced this yesterday. I'm wearing the hat right now. The Cloverleaf Tavern meetup after the Jets practice on August 1st is official. And joining us right now on the Gus Buster Umbrella Hotline is the champ of this year's Asmaniac Madness.
He's always cooking or coaching or flashing his green. This man is cooking or kicking Asmaniac ass. He's at the tailgate, he's cooking, blowtorching his food. A diehard Jets legend, the chef. They call Kevin Chef Kevin.
Damn, I love that intro, man. That song, that jazz, that fine dining restaurant feel, man. Yo, Gator, you the GOAT, man. You the GOAT, man. Jake, man, good morning. Salute to you. Amari, man. Yo, fan of your work, man. Keep it up. I love that
Appreciate
honest take, man. You know, no sugarcoating nothing. Authentic, man. Yo, keep doing your thing, man. You know the community appreciates and values you and what you bring, man.
Thank
Yo,
you, Chef.
you got it, bro. Yo, when it comes to that hot seat, man. Yo, that seat is scorching, man. Us fans, listen, we're a collective. We want to see the wins, man. What Jet fan doesn't like, tanking for who? We ain't on that, man. Right now, we want to see some wins to avoid all that other stuff, man. Because if the wins don't happen, man, then it's gonna, the noise, man, the roars, everything's gonna start getting a lot louder, man. And for us, man, us diehards, we really don't want to talk about the stuff, man. We don't want to talk about next season. We're already in the off season, looking forward to this upcoming season, man. This with Jake leading the charge, man. With the must win, man. It's a must win week 1, and if our team doesn't have that mentality, then don't even show up. Don't even show up if you're not taking this as a must win game. Beating Salah, beating Tennessee, we don't really have anybody left from that regime, man. So right now they gotta feel like, okay, we're better than that. And really put it to them, man. We have all this time. We have a lot of time to game plan. We got the coaches in the building, we got the talent. They got to really come through, man. Otherwise, all this coaching stuff, it's gonna be legit, man. The KOC stuff, it's a real thing, man.
I agree.
For sure.
I agree. It's a good start's paramount. I mean, people think it's too extreme to call week 1 a must win, but I look at it through the lens of you can't win week 1. I'm going to expect you to then beat the Packers, the Lions, the Bears. It's easier to sell me on you can find a win over your next 3 if you win week 1. And even if you can't, 1-3 playing the Browns, 2-3, and then of your next 3 games, 2 of them are the Raiders and the Dolphins. Like you could be 3-5 through your first 8, maybe 4-4. Like there's a path to being relevant and building confidence and actually having a season.
I just think you can't just continue to keep building for the future. At some point, you have to establish who you're going to be as a franchise, as a coach, and even as a player. And I don't even say this like as a personal thing. Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, and a lot of these guys, they are losers. Like personally, I don't think that they're losers, but as football players, as Jets players, they are losers. They haven't really won anything. So at some point, you have to turn this thing around because a lot of us want Garrett Wilson to retire here. A lot of us want Breece Hall to at least be here for another contract signing. We want Olu and Membu to be guys that we associate with winning. So that's just where I'm at, Chef. I'm with you. I can't even I'm looking at the 2027 quarterback class. That's just because it's my hobby and it's my job to do. But again, I'm not looking. I can't even think about the 2027 draft because we have an entire season. We have 17 games to go. So I can't be miserable for what is it? 5 months, Jake? I just can't do it. I can't do it. I can't be already thinking about sitting down with Jake in February when August 1st we got to meet up and September 13th we got to go beat Salah. I just can't. So I'm right there with you.
I'm underwater right now. I appreciate y'all, man. Chef Brian. Yo, where are you? Chef Brian.
I've never seen a champion's Wi-Fi deteriorate as quickly as Chef Kevin's did just there.
I know. I got nervous. I thought that was me. I was like, not again.
He was calling out Chef Brian. So Chef Brian Morales and Chef Kevin, they are corresponding on the official rules for our chef off that we will have at the Asmaniac training camp meetup on August 1st. So
nice.
We're working on the details. Brian, I hope you're free August 1. And it's kind of funny that Chef Kevin had the internet issues because that's what Brian Morales is sometimes known for with his calls. So, Chef Brian, You've been challenged to a chef off by Chef Kevin August 1st. It's going down as long as you could be there that day. And I look forward to it. I can't wait. It's going to be crazy. What do we got here? Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. Earlier in the chat, Beastbreaker wrote time for the toilet, but he's currently sitting in his normal spot. So let's check in and see how everything's going for the Beast.
I fell into a burning ring of fire, and I went down, 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 and the flames were riding higher. And it burns, 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 the ring of fire.
I think that answered our question. Let's continue the conversation right now. Ron L., who will be at our event on Saturdays next. What's up, Ron?
Hey, Jake. Hey, guys. How you doing?
Hey, Ron.
I'll be there Saturday. Just to comment on the whole the record coming up this year. I'm the biggest optimist. I've been through all of them. Joe Walton, everybody, Rich Kotite, and I'll tell you what I saw last year. Some of the dumb things that Aaron Glenn did. I'm an Aaron Glenn fan as a player and stuff, but I just don't. I hope he changes this year, learns everything. But he did some of the worst things you could imagine, and the team just played so poorly that when you look at if they lose that first game, who knows what's going to happen? It could be a disaster. You could be 0-7. It could really snowball. I'm hoping, like I said, I'm an optimistic fan. I have always been, but I'm really, really nervous. Like I said, starting out with a loss, they just played like crap. I mean, we could be talking 0-6, 0-7. I'm hoping not, but we saw it last year, and I just hope that Glenn comes out in camp this year and I don't know, he has to totally change everything he did this year. Everything he did was bad. I didn't like anything. And I know the players feel that. They know when their leader on the sideline, like Garrett Wilson last year, they know when they look in his eyes and he's lost or he doesn't have the answers or if he's, mumbling. And he doesn't. You need a leader, and if they don't see it early, if they fall apart early, it could be really tragic. So anyway, just throwing that out. I know I haven't been on in a while, Jack. I moved from Binghamton to Jersey, so it's just a pain in the ass. So anyway, but I'm here. I'll see you guys Saturday. I won't be wearing a Speedo. I don't want to show you, but I look forward to seeing all you guys in your Speedos. I'm just kidding. Another thing is, Doc last week, I've been watching, I just haven't been able to recall much, but he brought up a point. I don't know his real name, but it was Doc. It talked about Kenyon Sadiq. We always look at quarterbacks differently, like, oh, they have to play 40 games, they have to play so many years. And I know Kenyon Sadiq, he makes me nervous. I didn't like the pick there early because when you go back, even the last 5 to 10 years of tight ends, even way back through history, these tight ends, the ones that were really good coming out, they played 4 seasons and they had great statistics. Sadiq did it for 1 season. And, we don't know about his real true blocking skills after just having 1 season as a starting decent tight end. I know he's known for drops. All my receivers, running backs, tight ends, if they drop the ball, I hope he changes that. If they're a dropper, a lot of times you can't teach that. Hopefully, I know some do, but it's not easy. So once again, the chance of Sadiq, and I hate hearing the whole he's a physical god and all. I don't care about it. Give me a fat, 300-pound tight end if you have to that can just catch the ball and get open. But so I'm nervous about those things. That, and once again the schedule. I looked at the schedule several times. I keep going over and go, boy, if we lose that first game, we could be 0-4, 0-5, and then it starts to become, contagious. What are your opinions on that, guys?
Yeah, look, I think it's a totally fair point, Ron. Looking forward to meeting you in person on Saturday. Sadiq would be an outlier if he's great right away. Most tight ends, it takes a little bit at that position. We've been spoiled the last few years with Bowers and Loveland and Warren, but we got to feel like the talent is there for Sadiq to be one of the better tight ends in the league. That should flash when we see him. I'm not gonna predict him to be amazing, but I do think that pick, a lot of it comes down to Geno and then really Frank Reich putting Sadiq in positions to make plays, because Frank Reich was like the engine behind that pick. If you go and watch all the videos the Jets have released from inside the war room that night. So, look, I think I like Sadiq a lot. I didn't love the pick in real time if you watch the video live from draft night, because I was, concerned about not getting a receiver, but I feel better about the pick and the process because they did trade back in and got Cooper. And let's just hope that the two of them combined, at least one of them hits this year, and we feel good about for the offense going forward.
Yeah, I wouldn't really, and Jake, we've been saying this for a little bit too. I've been trying to do my best to tell Jets fans to temper the expectations, but it's kind of hard when, you see the physical ability, you see the 16th overall pick, and you're like, okay, I'm seeing other tight ends do this, but Kenyon Sadiq is not. He's not going to be Colson Loveland. And I would love to be wrong. I can see, some of the chat, they're probably going to let me know, about my take here in a second. I would love for him to be Colson Loveland, but I just don't see that. I think that if we look at the tight end room as a whole, and I think that we talked about this, if we could get 1,100 yards of production from the tight end room as a whole and about 8 touchdowns from all three of those guys, I would think that that's a home run, because I think tight end is a really hard position to transition into the NFL to. You look at Travis Kelce, he had, it was a bit of a developmental runway. You even look at Kyle Pitts, and Kyle Pitts was one of the most highest rated tight ends coming out of college. Some people thought that he was going to be plug and play and really change the fabric of how tight ends are used. And even then, he hasn't really had a dominant season yet. He's had some good seasons. I'm a huge fan of Kyle Pitts, but he hasn't really looked at, has his production warranted being the 4th overall pick? Some would say no. So I think that position is going to take a little bit of time. You even look at Vernon Davis, Jake, who I think at his, his highest of his powers, being what we think they should be. I think that Kenyon Sadiq could be a Vernon Davis. So what I will say, Ron, is that you're right. Don't look for elite production from Kenyon Sadiq. Look for good production from the tight end room as a whole, and then Kenyon Sadiq slowly turning into what Vernon Davis was when he was at his peak powers. And I will say one thing I will say, and I know that Joe Blewett talked about this as well. So Kenyon Sadiq is a willing blocker. So if you see Kenyon Sadiq coming out as an H-back or being a lead blocker for Breece Hall in some of these situations or some misdirection plays, Kenyon Sadiq is going to get out there and block. And if they're in, we'll call it, let's say 12 personnel, those are going to be 2 willing tight end blockers. If you even have, we'll call it 10 personnel or 11 personnel, and you have Kenyon Sadiq playing big slot, he's going to block. So I would favor Kenyon Sadiq in a blocking assignment versus a nickel and versus a linebacker and versus a safety. So he's going to block, and he's going to be that X piece. I would say, I hate to bring up this guy, but the way Aaron Hernandez was used as the second tight end, I think that's how Kenyon Sadiq should be employed.
Look, if he's Aaron Hernandez minus the murderers, I think we take that as a player for sure.
Yeah. I do my best to try not to bring up Aaron Hernandez, but he was so good. He was so good on the field.
But yes, he was a killer on and off the field, as we know. There's no doubt. Tyrone in the Rifle for Two, he says, I see Glenn as a bridge coach for the new coach. Will pick the QB even if they have a good year. They will still need a QB and an offensive coach, maybe O'Connell or someone else, in my opinion. In the end, please win. Look, Glenn and Geno both could just be here for one more year together. And that's a real reality here. Like we talk about a bridge quarterback. Glenn could be the coach that delivers you the top 5 pick and sets you up with that pick and cap space, and Muji's here and hiring a coach. Or Aaron Glenn could prove last year was an anomaly and he's actually a good coach. He took over the defense. The defense dramatically improved. They win games they're not supposed to, and they have a fun year, which teams do in the NFL. Every year there's teams that make the playoffs they did in the prior year. There's a team every year in the league that goes from worst to first. That's what makes the Jets playoff drought so historically impossible to fathom. It's a league built for parity. You're not supposed to stay this bad for as long as the Jets have been.
Yeah, it's actually shocking that every time I say it out loud, I'm like, how did we even get to this point? Honestly, Jake, I think the perfect storm for us would probably be the Jets win 8 games. All the rookies look great. Let's say that they missed the playoffs, and then we have our pick of the litter for an offensive coach, and the Colts get us the number 1 overall pick. Everybody's happy. Playoff drought, probably done. You could marry that young QB with an offensive coach. and then we just ride off into the sunset and we make the playoffs for the next 8 years. I think that's a perfect scenario. And if we'd all sign up for that, even people in the chat.
Sign me up. Sign me up. More of your calls right now, although I don't know if this guy's actually there. Brandon, I'm coming to you, but your and his camera just clicked off. Brandon, try and call back in, and I will put you up, and we will get you on the show. Quick reminder, if you ever missed the live YouTube show, you can always listen back in audio form. Check out the Jake Asman Show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And again, join the Patreon, especially if you're coming to Jets Dolphins and you want to get priority access to our first come, first serve tickets for that game in section 146 in the lower bowl. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Let me give some love to our guy, Bethpage Chris, the pride of Long Island, who re-upped his Patreon subscription for a year. Snowball, speaking of Long Island, Snowball will be at our event on Saturday. He signed up for the year. Mike Cantina, thank you, Mike. Kelly Maria and Derek the Cop, our most recent Patreon subscribers. Let's see if Brandon is with us now. His camera's on. Brandon, you're next here on our show this morning. What's going on?
How's it going, guys?
What's up, Brandon?
What's going on?
Nothing much. So about the hot seat, I couldn't agree more about Aaron Glenn being on that hot seat, especially after catfishing us the way he did last year, saying we're all in. Yeah. And then this year, he's saying the quarterback that we have is taking us to the promised land. So the way I've seen it, most Jet fans take that as at least getting into the playoffs, or at least.
What? We lose you, Brandon?
Yeah,
I think we lost him. Try from your computer, Brandon. I know you've had some issues with your phone. I don't think Glenn needs to make the playoffs to be back. Obviously, if he does that, regardless how the defense looks, I think he's here, of course, and he should be. But I do think it's being competitive going into the final month. Can you be in the hunt? Like, your season shouldn't be cooked. MetLife can't be a morgue in December like it's been the last couple of years.
Yeah, I'm with you. And to be honest, Glenn never said what the promised land was. So it could be a Super Bowl. It could be the number 1 overall pick.
9-8.
Yeah, right. 9-8.
Like, I just feel like he's the guy that's going to lead us to the promised land.
It could be the number 1 pick.
It could be. It depends. Depends on who you are. I think if we talk to 8 people, we get 4 different answers about what they think is the promised land. So I will say he has been a lot better at the podium. Yeah, we haven't had too many, so I'm just glad that he's not giving, he's not giving us bulletin board material. So we'll see. But I think that most of us feel we feel confident that he's on the hot seat, and I think that nobody feels it more than him. So hopefully,
play call is my superpower, really.
I mean, he gave us a tour de force at the combine between that quote and then falling asleep during David Bailey's 40-yard dash.
Listen, he was taking a power nap, okay, guys? And he woke up just in time to watch David Bailey run his 40, okay?
I defended him. The combine is boring, man. I like going because it's fun to, talk to the prospects and all the media people in one spot and coaches and GM speak. And it's kind of like the NFL's like official kickoff to a crazy offseason. But I defended Glenn for taking a nap. What does he need to watch David Bailey run? He just needs to know the number. It's 40 time.
Exactly. So yeah, that didn't really bother me that much. But man, once I saw it, I was like, please tell me he's not asleep. So no, it was a good time. I'm going back again, man. I know you're going to be there as well. So I had a great time. So it was cool to see.
The thing with that is, like, you don't get the benefit of the doubt when you're the Jets because people are just looking for reasons to make fun of you and take shots at you. And like we went through this with the Knicks, the Mets being an unmitigated disaster. There's still a lot of LOL Mets that's out there, although throw the Yankees in there with their expectations and their disgraceful play the last month, as they always do this time of year. But like that's just how it goes. And Joe Caparoso made this point on his podcast. I thought it was a really good one. Remember the story came out about the Jets using a lot more AI in their front office. And that was like, they've upgraded from Madden ratings to now asking ChatGPT who to sign or who to draft. And like, if that same story came out about the Chiefs or the Ravens or even the Bears now with Ben Johnson, it'd be like, these are, forward-thinking, innovative organization. And it's like,
these guys
they get the benefit of the doubt now. Like, that's how it works.
It's so funny because the NFL actually had their own AI that they were using. Remember, there was a commercial out about it. How they were using AI to single out draft prospects, but if the Jets say it, then it's LOL Jets. It's so bad, Jake, that when the Team USA, when they got their doors blown off, we can get into that too if you want. People were saying this is how it must feel to be a Jets fan. It's somehow it just always turns into LOL Jets. Like it's tiring. I can only imagine how Mets fans feel. It's tiring, and I think that it's time that at least we get like a 4 or 5 year break. It's like we're exhausted at this point.
Brandon says, my Wi-Fi stinks. Go Jets. Brandon, that's okay. Go Jets. And how about this?
Go Knicks. Go Knicks.
We all can agree
That's
on
right.
that. That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Omari, you're the man. Thanks for coming on as always. I'll see you in person on Saturday. I'm so pumped.
Looking forward to it. Hey, guys, listen, join us in Atlantic City, man. Let's do it. Thanks, Jake. Catch you next week.
Omari Brown now with Jet X in his weekly spot. He's coming to Gang Green Beach Club on Saturday. You should too. Speaking of Gang Green Beach Club, a message from a guy who will be there on Saturday.
Hey, Jet fans. This Saturday, July 11th, in Atlantic City at the Ocean Casino Resort, HQ2 Club, there's a big party. Gang Green Beach Party. Let's go. Listen, Wayne Corbett, all the Jet reporters will be there, the podcasters, a ton of the fans. There's gonna be a cast of characters, all the people that love and support the green and white. Let's go. Listen, it's gonna be a great day. We'll have a few cocktails. We'll talk about the state of the Jets. You gotta like what you see so far. Let's hope it's going to be a good season. I look forward to seeing everybody in Atlantic City on Saturday for the Gang Green Beach Party. Let's go!
Oh, yeah. It's going down. It is going down. Programming note, tomorrow, I am filling in for Michael K on radio on ESPN New York. So listen from 1 to 3 because of that. Tomorrow's show will start at 9 a.m. as opposed to 10 a.m. And you can listen on ESPN New York, watch it on the ESPN New York YouTube channel. We'll definitely talk some Jets tomorrow because both the Yankees and the Mets, they're playing during the day, during the show. So the show on ESPN New York is where the home of the Mets will actually be streamed only on the ESPN New York app or the YouTube channel. So I'm going to do what I do best. I'm going to talk Jets, talk some football during our show tomorrow, and might be joined, fingers crossed, by a very special guest. So I will certainly let you guys know about that tomorrow if I'm able to book a certain someone that I've been in communication with. Ladies and gentlemen, open phone lines. If you want the show to continue, call in. Tell me how you're feeling about the Jets. Tell me how you're feeling about the state of this team. We have not had any notable Geno Smith update since Father's Day when that story broke. We're still kind of waiting on that, and we're under 3 weeks now till the Jets officially get training camp underway. It was 3 weeks yesterday when the veterans report. So 3 weeks from today, it's safe to say will be the Jets' first on-field practice for the 2026 season. How does that make you all feel? You let me know in the chat. Right now, we head back to your calls.
Oh, shit. You son of a bitch. I just got a little gas. 11 ball going up, coming down. 13. Where you going? Out. 10. Going up. Going south.
You got a football point beast, or you're just going to sit there yelling incoherent things?
We're getting closer and closer as time emerges. The merger is coming. The time is coming for retribution. Tampa is the first match. Maybe retribution, or will it be crumble? You decide. Revenge or crumble? Where's it going to be? There's 2 ways to call it. Spin the wheel. Make the deal.
Now, Beast, I have a question for you because you started Storm Lawn Care and you're going to mow people's lawns. You had some people call you, and you said that you had to turn down some business because it was too hot, right?
Protocol and safety, proper precaution is going to be in term. That's why we put these in effect, because due to
now a couple things. One, put on your ring light because we can't see you. I don't know why we have to constantly remind you this every day. You call in to every show. And two, because of the fact that if it reaches a certain temperature, you're unable to actually mow a person's lawn.
I've had problems with heat for many years now.
I heard that you're changing your business model to Storm Igloo Care, and you're moving to Alaska.
Is this you know what? Are you completely on drugs? Seriously?
Is this true? Because this was sent to me, and I wasn't aware that you changed your business
know what?
plan.
I don't give a rat's ass what people think of me anymore. I'm tired of the constant clown around freak show. I'm not ICP.
Well, so is this not true? Because it makes sense. You're not going to be mowing anything in the summer if it's too hot for you. So
Player.
Igloo Care?
To the pimps. See, you're talking to the pimp. See, I know how to play the game. You see, you don't know what it's like to be a pimp. See, you don't know how it feels to be OGD. You don't know what it's like to be with the dogs.
So is this true?
Hell no.
So you're not moving to Alaska.
You must be smoking some weird ass shit, player. You smoking some weird shit. I'll play.
So what's the deal then? You're not working then?
Well, I have to put proper safety precautions because of heat stroke. I've had a heat stroke before.
So what's the defining temperature where you can't work anymore?
Don't you read the medical book or the medical department?
What's the temperature it has to be for you to not work anymore?
If it goes past 85, not a chance.
85? So you're not going to get any business.
I know how the heat feels.
If Mad Max ain't yapping about jets, that boy, he's jamming, he's slamming, freaking dancing, wall smashing. I'm Jake Asman. If Mad Max ain't ever stopped yapping, that boy, he still be dancing. Then call Jake Asman, he got an orange wall.
You guys hear me now as maniacs? Oh man, let's talk about my Jets points.
Can you hear me?
We have a couple of amazing Jets points. So training camp is in 30 days. We have one open practice on August 1st. You know, pretty much a sell move for the Jets don't have season tickets. But honestly, the Jets have been so shit for so long. So one open practice is what we get. You know, the Jets need to prove themselves and wins. And then we have 30-something days to prepare for the preseason. We have Tampa, Pittsburgh, and the Giants. You know, we need to sucker punch the Buccaneers. You know, we got to beat the Buccaneers. We got to beat the Giants. We got to beat the Steelers. We got to look good in the preseason so we can prove ourselves in the regular season. Also, we should sign Stephon Diggs. You know, we could get a good little wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. Because honestly, Mechie is decent, but you know, we need a good little depth wide receiver. And honestly, Beach just wants to send his ad. You know, he's just complaining, at 85 and up. Like, come on. 85 is not bad. 90 is bad. Look, if it's 100 degrees, I would understand, but come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans of all ages, welcome to the event of the year, the moment you've all been waiting for. This is the Asmaniac Rumble.
I'm warning you, punk. You are playing with fire. You are in so much deep shit that I will kick your teeth down your miserable
Beastbreaker, what's this deal about? Like, I can't mow the lawn if it's 85 or up. Like, come on, Beast. Like, come on. 85 degrees not that bad. Look, I understand if it's 100 degrees, but if it's 85, it's not that bad. Like, come on. Beast, I do FC Mama and 85 and up weather. Beast, I work my ass off.
You're a fraud. That's all you're.
You're not in my league, Beast. Come on. Like, I'm doing FC Mama, you know.
I know more than you, pal. I know more than you, pal. I got two grandkids. So how you like them? How you like those apples? Whore.
What's your grandkids' names? What's your grandkids' names?
None of your damn business.
Remember
I'm tired of you all
one
right.
time he strikes.
You deserve to get your ass kicked by a power bomb.
Oh man, great point. Honestly, it is a great point because honestly, come on, 85 degrees is not that bad. It's not that hot.
Yeah,
like, come
right.
on.
You don't know your ass from your elbow, pal.
It's too hot.
You don't know your ass from your goddamn elbow.
What is this deal with this igloo cat?
This is how low self-esteem you are. You are the lowest form of dog shit on my shoe that needs to be swiped away.
Reese, what's this deal about this igloo cat? Are you moving to Alaska? What's the deal about that? What's that?
Oh, you are a fake. You're a fake.
85's nothing. Like Mike Drama says, that's true. That's so true. 85
85
is nothing. Like us, honestly, it's a nothing.
You don't know my
It
life.
is true. Come on, 85 is nothing, bro. He says I know business. Oh, so true.
You know shit.
Oh no, that's so true because he doesn't say business. What's this, yo, beast? What's this deal about this?
Last I checked, you were. You know what you were doing? You were banging trees for nickels.
If you take off your shirt, it's much cooler. So true. Maybe if you took off your shirt, it wouldn't be as hot outside. Like if you were shirtless, mowing lawns, it wouldn't be as bad.
You're just reading the chat because you're as dumb as a bag of bricks.
Yeah, Beast, what's this deal about this unsanctioned Chicago event for the Jets Science game?
Shit under a bag of square. You wouldn't last 1 minute in my class. You wouldn't even last one day, even in the School of Hard Knocks. You'd be black and blue with a crimson mask. You'd be finished and you'd be out the door fast. You're not in my league, pal. Just admit it. Admit it. You're not in the league.
I mean, I probably might be going to I might go to the Jets offense game. Let's see Rafael rocks. I'm trying to see my boys want to go, but like, we might be start going to this game.
Yeah, you know what you'll be running into? You'll be running into an alliance full of businessmen, and you don't want to go down that road because you don't know what it's like to be with the alliance. You're walking in shark-infested waters. Sharks are known to dominate. And you are no shark. You're a fish. You're a little fish looking for people. Here's a big pits. That's why I shave my goddamn body here. That's why I shave my pits. That's why I want to stay fresh.
Why did they call you Pits?
Because I used to stink.
Well, that escalated quickly between those two bitter rivals. Here's the question I have. Mad Max, we offered you an invite to Gangrene Beach Club. Are you coming on Saturday?
I probably can't go because of this FC Monmouth soccer game. We have a little soccer game I'm volunteering. We have 2 soccer games this week, but I'll probably be at the Chef Kevin meetup, honestly, like that training camp day. That's gonna be a lot of fun. And then let's talk about, honestly, what's this deal about this Beast underground party at his attic in Chicago for the Jets Science game? You should do a party there, a sausage party.
Beast Feast is Jets Dolphins, the tailgate before the game, October 25th. Any other Beast related event is unsanctioned. It's not Beast approved.
I mean, let's see. Is Beast doing the tailgate?
Beast will be at the October 25th outing.
Is he gonna be doing the tailgate? He probably could do like a bunch of his sausages at the tailgate.
Do you think you could eat more sausage than Beast?
I can eat more sausages than Beast.
You think so?
I can eat more sausages than Beast.
I don't know. I think Beast has you beat there.
Let's see. Let's get a rumble with Beast and see if he wants more.
You just
sausages.
had a rumble with him, Mad Max. How many rumbles do you want with the man?
Too many. I think, come on, like Beastbreaker. I can eat more sausages than you at the tailgate,
Man,
honestly.
I will kick your teeth down your throat, and by the time I'm done with you, I'm gonna fold you up like an accordion and play the chicken polka and go. Yeah, and you know who? And you know what's funny? My Uncle John has an accordion, and I'm gonna make sure I will put that over your ass and make sure when I'm playing that chicken polka, I'll make sure people are dancing and going. That's right, boy. I'll take you to school because you know what? I'm the teacher and you're the bitch. So you're in my class, punk. So you're the skunk. I'm the real man, and you're a gimp, and I'm the hot, good-looking pimp. And remember,
rejected. Sorry.
Well said, Beast. Mad Max, thank you. More of your calls right now. We have not heard from this man in quite a while. It's been a wild summer for him, I'm hearing. Ladies and gentlemen, shoe sales are at a record high with all the foreigners invading New York for the World Cup. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time.
The only thing better than Alden shoes is Joey D, cause he totally rules. Jake, my brother, I'm high as a kite. I love everybody. Damn, this show is crazy.
Mr. Bonesy. Hello, Bones.
What's up?
Bonesy. Are you coming Saturday? I don't even know.
I am not coming, man.
Boo.
I got bad news. I'm not coming, dude. It's been rough, dude. I literally just this weekend was playing ball and fucked up my knee bad. I'm limping around like ridiculous. I still would have came, but my wife had a bachelorette party she was supposed to go to, and then she got gifted Jay-Z tickets, and she's not going to the bachelorette party because she wants to go to the Jay-Z concert. So I'm probably going to limp my ass there just, to the train to Yankee Stadium. But I'm not going to be able to sit in the car for 3 hours and drive. And I fucked up, man. I'm sad because I really wanted to come. It's going to be too big. It's going to be too cool. It sucks that I'm not coming, man. I'm beat up, bro. I'm sad, dude.
You'll be missed. Now, can you make it to the August 1st training camp outing, though?
Is it my phone? Is it staticky on my side?
A little bit.
Okay. I don't know why. I heard a little static. There's too many. It's too crazy. It really sucks that I'm not coming, man. But if I didn't go to the Jay-Z concert, my wife was going to this bachelorette party. I was going to have nobody to watch my dog anyway, so that was a whole nother issue that Nick Shine was going to have somebody watch my dog. I had a plan in place for a little bit, but it fell through. So I'm sad. I am pretty confident I'm coming to Chef Kev's thing on August 1st. That's looking pretty good. I'll probably end up coming with Sonny and maybe even the wifey. So, but hey,
and I'm chopping that food down.
Sonny.
Hello.
Say what's up, man.
Hello.
Hi, Sonny.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
How's your summer?
Good.
Good.
Lola wants to say hello.
Lola. Hi, Lola.
Hi.
So, I've been living. What?
She's getting big.
Thanks, man. Yeah, they love you. They love you too. Sonny said, when we go to Chef Kev's restaurant, can I get to sit next to Jake like I did at the game? I'm like, dude, it's too early for that, bro.
Tell him yes, absolutely.
With all, Chef Kev had a really good call earlier. I'm still living off the Knicks high. So, normally when we go from mini camp to training camp, I'm chomping at the bit like really bad I'm very impatient. But with this Knicks title, I'm not going to lie, I'm a very, very big Knicks fan. So if it still feels good, I couldn't imagine the Jets winning and how good it would feel. Just how good the Knicks win feels. So I'm still doing good there. I've been working on my basement. My buddy's been coming up every weekend. I'm finishing my basement, just me and him. So I've been grinding. And like you said, dude, we've been crazy at the store. It's been awesome. I gotta say, I've been caking there. It's been good, dude. we've been very busy, so it's been awesome. But this Jet stuff, man.
Beast wants to watch Rex, by the way, if you need a babysitter for your dog.
Well, he might get to on the October Miami game because I would not miss that game for my life. Beast on the grill, baby. What?
Beast feast in L5. It's going down.
Can't wait. But hey, back to Jets. I am so excited. I have no worry. I can't even, like Chef said, when you're a hardcore fan, you can't even think about next year right now. Aaron Glenn has done enough to set himself up for just this year and how he performs. And he's done everything from letting Frank Reich handpick who he wants in the draft, and for everyone down on Sadiq, we would have all been happy with Cooper at that pick, and then we ended up still getting Cooper, and we all would have been happy with Pons at our second round first head pick, so I think we did pretty good in the draft. And I feel like Glenn has put enough pressure already on himself, calling the plays and talking about superpowers, that if this year collapses, we are set up perfectly for Muji to get his chance at a quarterback. Like, we just went through this with Douglas and Gase, where Gase brought in Douglas. Gase got fired, and because Douglas did a good job in the draft, and then Douglas got a chance to pick his guy. So I see that exact situation available for Muji if Glenn fails. It seems like Muji has done so good before, because quarterback is everything. If we didn't miss on Zach Wilson, we still have Joe Douglas. So
yes, I'm on the thing. I'm busy. I'll talk to you in a little bit, okay?
So I have nothing but positive excitement for all the rookies and all the young talent we have on this team to watch them develop. And even if because Glenn has so many veterans on the defense that we don't have he doesn't have a good excuse to be awful like last year where it was embarrassing. Agreed. We have too many veterans. If it goes bad, it's all Glenn's fault. He's calling the plays. He handpicked the free agents. He brought in all his veteran guys to stabilize the defense. So I'm very excited to see what this young core can do. And sucks, of course, we got to lead this offseason with Gino and all the bullshit with there. But I'm excited, man. The excitement is still here, and I can't even think about next year right now. We got to get through training camp and watching, how Gino performs. And we got so many positives to look. Mason Taylor, A.D. Mitchell. We have so many. Brees just got signed. He's going to be a dog out there. Garrett's on the rebound off of an injury. We have a guy who's not scared to get people the ball. Like, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. So, but again, sorry I can't make this weekend. I'm still sad, man. I was talking to Nick just over the weekend. We were trying to map out a plan, but now that my wife actually canceled her bachelorette party trip to want to go to the concert, we need some time alone. So I gotta handle the wifey, fellas. I'm sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's Mr. Bonesy. This is what he does. He'll be all right. He'll be there August 1st for the training camp meetup. It's happening.
Hell yeah, baby. And I'm excited for that too. I'm hoping I'm gonna actually I don't want to talk about it because I don't know what we've talked about yet live with what's going on there, but I know Chef's battling, and I'm excited to be there and be part of it. So
Peter Castro just called you P-word whip.
That's right, Petey. If you want to be married for 10 years plus and still get laid, you'll do what you got to do.
Calm your freaky down.
Oh yeah.
So that's how I operate. I got to keep the wife happy if you still want to get something in 10 years.
Hey, congrats on the sex.
Well, congratulations on the intercourse, and I will see you soon, Bones. I'll stop by the shoe store as well.
That's all I got, man. I've been missing you guys. I've been still watching. I love Jets Collective. All the Jets talk, pure Jets, man. Shit is dope. We didn't have Rich last week, but I love the new show, and obviously I still watch. I have been cutting out a little bit of the end of these shows sometimes because I'll fall asleep while I'm listening to it downstairs chilling at night. But I'm always here, man. Love everybody, and I miss you guys.
Bonesy, you're the man. We'll see you soon. Now Bonesy in for August 1. Peter Coucher says, I'll play you one-on-one. I'd love to watch that pickup basketball game. Hey, how about this from Frank P? He gifted 5 memberships and then another 5 memberships. So that's 10 entries in our raffle for the Chad Pennington signed football coming up in a bit here from Frank P. Also, want to shout out Frank P. So he won a Garrett Wilson signed helmet on the show the other day, and he donated it to Stack, who's one of our long-time listeners, an OG in the chat. So Cisco, I believe, donated a prize to Frank, and then Frank just paid it forward on a prize he won to Stack. So we got the best community. So I wanted to highlight that. Thank you to Frank P for 10 new channel members. Let's see who got them. After we first play this.
Jets! Let's go!
If you hear your name, Frank P. made you a channel member, an Asmaniac, which means among all your perks, early release on shows, all the emojis, a free super chat every month. You get all the badges next to your name. Valentine99, Hyper00, Brian Gert, Kevin636, Big Will, Cool Ross, Chris the Flash, Sam Aiken, PBM. Shout out to PBM. He'll be there Saturday. And Vandy FW. By the way, I saw Purple Belt Mike wrote in the chat that October 25th is Mike's birthday. So we got to get Mike at the meetup for Jets Dolphins then on his day of birth. Heck yeah. Rob earlier when Beast was on wrote in ZZZ like he was falling asleep. Beast was boring him. Beast, can you put some excitement in Rob Daniels' life?
Yo. Now, this promotion consideration paid for by the following. Ding, 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 ding. You want Icro Pro? You better come to this sport. You better be bigger than tough. You better be harder than rough. If you can't stand the heat, then get off Icro Pro. And now another announcement. Chips!
Just leave a message. Just leave a message. Thank you.
Last call for the raffle. Again, we have another show later today, but you got to find it on the Jet Collective YouTube channel. We are going live at 3 p.m. Eastern. If there is a Geno Smith update, Rich Samini, who's been in constant communication with the Davie Police Department down in Florida, will have an answer for us. So we'll start with that among some of the other topics the three of us are going to be discussing. I just put the link to subscribe to the Jets Collective channel in the comment section. So check it out. We'll be live tomorrow morning for another show before I head down to Atlantic City in the afternoon to get a head start on Gangrene Beach Club. So I'll have the raffle tomorrow as I'm doing tomorrow's Thursday. I'm doing a show tomorrow morning because I'm doing radio at 1. So the start time for that is 9 a.m. Then Matt O'Leary, who normally joins us on Thursdays, next couple of weeks, we're moving Matt to Friday because Matt teaches a class on Long Island. He's a professor, Professor O'Leary. So O'Leary will now be on Fridays for the next couple of weeks. We'll have Matt Friday morning before I head down to AC for the weekend to be part of Gangrene Beach Club. Great back and forth between two people in the chat that I want to highlight. J-Quest says, the Beast thing has gone stale for me. I know he means well, but it's just stale as F. To which Beastbreaker responds, go piss in your bed. Beast, they're calling you stale. Your reaction?
That's your Gen Z nonsense. Who cares? I don't give a damn. I bring my own stuff. I write my own skits, my own stuff. You don't like it, then change the channel, moron.
That seems a bit much.
Or should I sound like a Rob? I go, nah, you could change the channel. You could change the channel. Change the channel. Change the channel.
Extraordinary.
Extraordinary.
That's extraordinary.
That's extraordinary.
That's extraordinary.
That's extraordinary.
It's quite extraordinary.
Quite extraordinary.
You know, women shouldn't vote. Just do laundry and vacuum. Extraordinary.
Gary.
Hello, Gary.
I really never noticed Beast in the background of that intro ever until like the other day. I never noticed him in there.
There's a lot of Easter eggs in Gator creations.
Yes, there are. There are. All right, I had a couple. Of course, Matt O'Leary is like a college professor. Like for real?
He teaches a communication class part-time. I guess he's an adjunct professor, it's called.
Well, that's a professor. An adjunct professor.
He teaches a class. I forget. I would plug the school if I remembered. I didn't want to say the incorrect thing, but so we're moving his spot from Thursday to Friday because of his schedule.
Look at that. I had no idea he had a big boy job like that. Good for him. Good for him. Now I had a couple of other. I missed the beginning of the show. I only tuned in during Bonesy's call. I saw the title of the show. The insider that put him on the hottest of hot seats. Did you say who that was? And where did that come from? I'm not trying to rehash. I'm just curious.
Let me pull up the full article here. So the guy who wrote the story is NFL reporter Jordan Danjani.
Okay. And he's from CBS. So
he works for CBS Sports.
All right. I mean, I guess that's legitimate.
This was just the most recent list. Full disclosure, I've had this topic in the can as a possible thing I wanted to do because there's been a couple outlets that have done hot seat rankings. This was the one that was the most current, so I just went with that one.
Okay. I mean, that's a good sign.
Is it?
I mean, well, no, but yes, right? No, I'd rather them just have a great head coach and, be a playoff team perennially like most good head coaches are. That would be optimal. Since that's not the case, him getting fired would be like a good partying gift, right? Okay, you didn't win the game show, but at least Aaron Glenn is gone. Is that fair?
Yes, I guess. I mean, if he gets fired, but he first delivers the number one pick like Pete Carroll did in Vegas, I think we'd sign for that outcome if we could just click a button and that's the outcome.
Yeah, I mean, if it's. I'm not trying to be that guy because I told every Nets fan, don't root for the tank. You went 20-62. How much worse do you want it to? Would you sign up for 1-15 or 1-16 right now if you knew you'd get the number one pick? Would you take it right now?
I'm guaranteed the number one pick.
Number one pick, but you gotta sit through 1-16.
What's the alternative if I don't sign up for it? Just by chance?
You roll the dice. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd sign for that only because I don't have high hopes for this team. So I'd rather have the cost certainty of getting go through one more miserable year, and it'd be miserable. But if I'm ending with the number one pick and 2 other firsts and $100 million in cap space, it sucked. But we've taken so much pain the last 15 years and haven't been rewarded with the number one pick to this point. I would take it on the chin for one more year to get the number one pick.
It can't be worse than 2020. That was my all-time low as a Jet fan, 2020. I don't think it got any worse than that. We're the worst team I'd ever seen, and we ended up with the number 2 pick and took Zach Wilson. That was about as low as it possibly gets. That was the worst team I ever saw, and somehow it didn't end up with the number 1 pick, and it got number 2 and took Zach Wilson. I think that's my all-time low as a Jet fan.
It's brutal. What makes it a little easier to stomach in hindsight is it's not like any of the other quarterbacks they could have taken instead would have worked out. Obviously,
but when you're that bad, why can't we get number 1 pick? We were so bad that year. It was.
You think Trevor Lawrence would have had success with Robert Saleh and everything that transpired after? I mean, we'll never know.
I mean, it would have been better than Zach, but it probably wouldn't have been because he wasn't really good until he had moments. But Lawrence really wasn't a top tier quarterback until last season.
Correct.
Right?
Took the coach. So
it probably wouldn't have been great.
Now you could argue though that he would help attract you to get. Just like Harbaugh wanted to go and coach the Chargers because of Herbert, you could argue that having the talent of Lawrence would help you get one of those guys. So, if you could do it over, obviously you would take Trevor Lawrence. But it just I look back on that year and even when they were awful and they had the number 1 pick all year, based on the strength of schedule percentage points that the Jets experienced this year with the Raiders, they needed to go 0-16 to get the number 1 pick. Because even if they didn't beat the Rams and they still had that 1 win against the Browns, let's say, they would have lost on the tiebreaker to Jacksonville. They truly needed to finish winless, which never happens unless you're the 2008 Lions or the 2016 Browns to get the number 1 pick in the draft. And I don't know, teams don't go 0-16. It doesn't happen.
What did the Jets start? They started 0-12 or something that day, didn't they? What did they? 0-12?
I think it was 0-12 or 0-13 when they got their first win against the Rams.
Yeah, and then that was that year and the first year of Zach was really, really bad. That was really low. And then after Zach's first year is when they took Garrett and Sauce and Hall. It got better, but then you had Zach, which was, it's still a quarterback-driven league, and you have Zach Wilson. How good are you really going to do?
It's true.
And then, and I wanted to ask about Geno. If there's no news, then there's no news on him. Right, I mean, why do we think he's getting arrested or charged with anything? It's been weeks. If he was going to be charged, wouldn't he have been charged by now? And the Jets don't seem worried about it because they haven't made any moves at quarterback.
Well, maybe for all we know, maybe the Jets have a a deal worked out with a vet, and it's like, hey, we'll sign you if this happens, or like, here's the terms. Like that could be going on behind the scenes. I don't think it's a sign of a good or a bad thing. I just know the last time Rich Cimini was on the show, he said it could be something that could be wrapped up any day or by the end of this weekend. And here we are now, a couple of weeks have gone by and there's been nothing. So I'm just curious if there's anything he could share and talking with the police department, if there's any sort of update.
I don't, I don't know what's publicly available, but I feel like in a domestic abuse case, like they would try to move this quickly so he doesn't hit. If they thought it was real, they would arrest him sooner rather than later. They'd make it quick so it doesn't continue, right? Like they would move it quickly. If there's no news, I think that means there's no news. I don't see any reason why he would get arrested weeks later. I mean, I guess maybe I don't know how it works in Florida, but it just seems to me that that'd be something they would move quickly on if they thought it was a real threat.
100%. I mean, I feel like if they had any sort of belief that he, to quote her, beat her ass, they would have arrested him on scene. So my feeling as someone who's not a law or a legal expert or a police, and we had police people on the show, Joe Blewett, Dark Knight Steve, who's in law enforcement in Florida. Like, my personal opinion is I don't think Geno Smith physically harmed this woman, but they're still having an investigation.
I don't think so either. On top of that, he was saying, call the cops. Go ahead, call the cops. Usually, if you just beat a woman's ass, you'd probably not be telling her to call the cops.
No. But he didn't say that, though, to be fair. He said she called the cops. He was on the phone with someone saying she called the cops, not called the cops.
Happened? Okay. Maybe I misheard that. I thought he was like, go ahead, call the cops. Go ahead. All right. All right. I mean, nothing came of it. If it was serious, I felt like something would have been done by now. I'm not that worried about it. And if not, worst case, we just play my guy. We just go with Club. I mean, he's going to play at some point. I mean, I'd rather it not be week 1, but he's going to get a shot. Like, the Jets are going to suck this year, and he's going to get a shot. It's just a matter of when. It was like, I kind of feel like this was last year when the Jets signed Russell Wilson and they drafted Dart. You knew Dart was going to start at some point because it wasn't going to be good for the Giants. So it's just a matter of when. Like, I feel like, K was a 4th round pick, not a 1st round pick, but he's still going to get a shot. He's going to play some games this year, and we're going to see how that goes.
I mean, he's definitely going to play at some point because that's typically how it goes with every Jet quarterback season. There needs to be at least more than one person who starts. The irony being the biggest storyline going into 2024 was, can Rodgers stay healthy after coming off the Achilles? And he started all 17 games. And that was the only year since 2015 where one Jet starter played every game of the regular season.
It's not going to happen again this year. I don't know. I'm not saying he's going to get hurt or anything. I'm just saying the team's going to suck. And it's going to be like, why don't we just play Cade Klubnik? And we're going to at some point play him. So,
well, look where the bye is too, right? It's week 13.
What if he does super well? What if he not super well? But what if he plays like the quarter, like Dart does? Like he plays pretty well, or he plays like the quarterback in New Orleans.
Chuck.
He plays like that. Okay. I mean, do you still take a quarterback 1 overall? You still do, right? No matter what.
It depends where they're picking and who's available, but I would lean heavily with, especially if you're changing the coaching staff, let them pick their quarterback. Let them make the decision.
And
keep that guy. By the way, why can't you just keep Klubnik at that point? He'd be under contract for 3 more years, cost you nothing. High-end backup, let him compete with the rookie. Why not?
I'm with you. Like a 4th round pick for a high end too is that's great value. That's a good pick too. I would take the quarterback if you're taking 1 or 2. Unless Cade Klubnik looks like Tom Brady, I'm taking quarterback at 1 or 2. If both quarterbacks work out and you have like Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers on the same team, that's a good problem to have.
Great. I'll worry about if the Jets are lucky if they're going 50 years between franchise quarterbacks. If they're lucky enough to have potentially 2, we will deal with that problem then.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I would if I'm drafting that high, I'm going to take the quarterback, and we'll figure out. Like if Cade looks that good, we could either keep him as a 2 or trade him for a bunch of picks. Like if hitting on a quarterback is only good. There's nothing bad that comes from that.
Totally agree.
That's really all I got, Jake.
Gary, great call. Beast wrote in though, Gary's more boring than milking a cow. Would you say that you're more exciting than milking a cow?
I don't think milking a cow, if you've never done it before, it's the first time you milked a cow, it's pretty fun. Have you ever milked a cow, Jake?
I have not. Have you?
Once. It was fun. Like once, like on a farm thing. They take you on a farm and you can milk a cow. It wasn't boring at all. But I guess
Did you
if
try the
do it
milk that
every
you milked?
day- No. If we did it again, right? Because it wasn't pasteurized, but like I wasn't clean and crunchy back then. So I was like, oh, I don't want to drink unpasteurized. Now I would only drink unpasteurized milk, but you see how that works. But I milked a cow once and it was fun. But I guess if you milk a cow every day, I guess it would get boring, I would imagine. But once it was fun.
Someone in the chat just asked, would you milk Beast?
No, I would not touch Beast. I'd rather milk the cow than milk Beast. I would not touch Beast.
Does that imply that Beast is like a cow that could be milked?
Well,
Like
I thought
he's
they
got
were
udders?
saying that he does have like double D's. I thought that's what they were talking. That's what they were referencing. I thought. I mean,
Hulk
maybe.
says milking the cow is the new string in the cheese.
There you go. There you go.
Beast, have you ever been milked?
Do I have to sound like Sting and just say, you're a dead man? Do I have to sound like the Crow Sting? Paint my face black and white? And do a Sting and go, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Yeah, you know, B, sometimes I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
That was informative.
That was. I never know what he's talking about. That's your boy, Jake. That's your boy.
He is my boy. My master of ceremony.
Keep thinking you have a Celtics hat on.
Cloverleaf Tavern. How dare you?
I dare you. It's insulting. But it like from a distance, it looks like you have a Celtics. Like from a quick glance, it looks like you have a Celtics hat on.
Man, I'm disgusted with that.
What's your
insinuation.
take? What's your take on that trade?
I think it's a terrible trade by Boston.
I was
Again,
on the-
if you're going to trade him, you have to get Giannis at that point. If the alternative is we can't make that deal and then we got to trade him for Paul George, I need to do whatever the Bucks needed to get that deal consummated and get that deal done.
Reports were the Nets were close to moving on that trade too, and they backed out. They were going to give Porter and 2 picks for JB. They were this close to doing it. I would have done it too. I think it worked. Look, Michael Porter Jr. at this point is a better number 2 option than Paul George, so it would have worked out better for Boston. And Jaylen Brown is a far better number 1 option than Michael Porter Jr., so it would have worked out for the Nets. The Nets could have had Brown twice. Remember, Boston offered Brown, Derek White, and a number 1 for Kevin Durant, and the Nets turned that trade down. Like, I think you just won another Eastern Conference Finals. I think you just locked that up again. You pencil the Knicks back into the finals after that Boston trade.
Not yet. Things happen. Injuries
It does.
happen.
It's a long season, but you would definitely be a prohibitive favorite right now. Boston definitely took a step backwards with that
Agreed.
trade.
And I don't trust Philly. You're one of this team to gel and be healthy and ready to go. So
Philly's got a ton of talent, but I just don't like the way that it's constructed. You got, I guess Brown's going to play the 3, and then Edgecombe's going to play the 2, and then like Maxi's the. Who's moving the ball? Those are all ball dominant scorers. They all need the ball. I just don't like. And then they're small. You're going to beat the Knicks. I think if you're going to beat the Knicks, you got to beat them with size. You have to go big to beat the Knicks. I don't think you can beat them with small ball. I don't like the way Philly will win a bunch of games and they won't be bad, but they're not beating the Knicks in the playoff series. Not with that team.
Knicks basketball, Gary. World
basketball.
champions. Don't you forget it.
Congratulations to you guys. Congratulations to you.
If I can make it there, I'll make it anywhere. It's up to you. New York, New York, New York, world champions.
Damn right. Good call by Gary there. Especially the conversation surrounding cows being milked. Gary has milked a cow. Will he milk the beast, though? Didn't seem too interested. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the raffle. Only one show today, so we have a big boy prize. Chad Pennington signed football. If you win, it's yours. If you don't win, well, that's okay if you enter because you're in the weekly raffle, which will be Friday, and you got a chance to win a bunch of awesome prizes, including a Brees Hall jersey display frame, Broadway Joe football, and a Joe Klecko helmet among our prizes. Right now, let's say hello to the master of raffle ceremony. Here is the Beast.
Sweet sailing, ready to go. Are you ready for that prestigious wheel? Since we got one show today, that Chad Pennington ball is on the line. Somebody's gonna get a winner at 3, at 2, at 1, and we are going to bust.
Thanks, Lord Ass. It's time for that daily Asmaniac raffle. Let's spin the Jake Hasman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
Before we get to the Wheel of Champions, at the buzzer, Mad Max has gifted 1 channel membership.
Good job.
Mad Max, thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we present to you the Wheel of Champions. Good luck to everyone who entered today. Excellent job by Beast sending us to the Wheel of Champions. Good luck to all. Only one can win. You're all in the weekly. Let's find out. Mimosa is the prohibitive favorite. 50 gifted memberships earlier in the show. Very rare we get that from anyone. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of a signed football by number 10, Chad Pennington, is Mimosa. She has done it.
Thank you, Mimosa, for your generosity and tremendous support of the Jake Asman Show.
Congratulations to Mimosa on the raffle win. Mimosa, I have your info, so I'll make sure we get that ordered and sent out for you this week. Again, 3 p.m. today, please join us on YouTube for the latest installment of the Jets Collective. If you're coming to the Jets and the Dolphins, or you plan on joining us, join the Patreon. I want to give some love to everyone who has signed up over the last few days. King of Kings, our most recent one, Bethpage Chris, Snowball Renewed, Mike Cantina, Kelly, Derek the Cop, thank you all. And a big shout out to Cisco, by the way, Cisco Lopez, who during this show locked in 2 tickets of our 70 we had allocated from the Jets to our Asmaniac meetup for the Jets Dolphins. So Cisco, if you're watching, you're all set. You guys are the best. I will be back at 3 today on the Collective YouTube channel. Please tune in then. I know it's going to be a great show. Until then, though, I leave you with a clip that will take you down memory lane. It will make you think a little bit. Maybe it will make you laugh. Maybe it will make you cry. But either way, I hope you enjoy it, and we will talk to you soon. JETS, 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 Jets.
And now for a word from our new sponsor.
If you're Hispanic, you know what I mean when you're out every time you were sick, you go like that, and just rub this shit all over, and rub this all over your body, and then you put like a heavy blanket over you so you could sweat out the cold.
And that was medical advice with V-Man. Vicks Mo Dre. Hello, Dre.
Any self-respecting Puerto Rican is going to have Vicks on them at all times.
Latinos use this for everything. Literally, I would get cut as a kid. I'd fall on the floor, cut. My grandmother would try to put this on every... It's like, a cut, ponte Vicks. Damn cancer, ponte Vicks.
This gets me through, I'm feeling a little sniffly. You just pop this bad boy in. Vicks cures broken hearts, cancer.
Literally, Dr. Dre giving us some medical advice.
We don't go to the hospital. Like, we don't want to find out what's wrong with them.
To a kid with a cold, it's love. To a mother, it's more. It's medicine.
Like, you could be...
Curse, bro. It gotta be a curse, man. Oh my gosh. What else could it be? Like we can't never get nothing right. The Jets done leapfrogged us. Should we tank?
Lane, what's going on?
I don't think the Buffalo Bills could wear white if the Jets were wearing white. It doesn't make sense.
Garrett Wilson, and the Jets have a new coach. His name is going to be Nomo Robert Saleh. He also has to keep talking to his players going into the locker room. Attention, please. We have to do better going into tonight's game. We have to play better. We got to move the ball around. We have to focus more. And we also have to do a lot of other passing.
So they need to hear that before week 1.
Yeah, and it's funny how you put me in a suit in the draft, and I Wait, you did that, or you took somebody's suit and put it on me? The pick goes to Knoble out of college. You gonna pick a blue suit for me? What am I, Anchorman? From I looked like from that movie, the Anchorman movie. I'll let you go. Bye.
You can't teach greatness, folks.
Hi. Sorry, everybody. See you next call when we talk about sports again.
Hey, here's the deal. Just got no chance unless you click on that like button. And you got to make sure you subscribe to the Jake Asman Show. You don't, you can get the f*** out. Now let's go, Asmaniacs. We're built for this shit.